Hi, I'm Ashton, and today we're going to be talking about a misconception that I get a lot of. Even some people that do support trans people believe that being trans is a choice. There are a few things I have to say about this. In all honesty, this argument confuses me a lot. If you can choose to be trans, that also means that you could choose to be cis. And the people that make these arguments are generally cisgender. I've never seen a trans person make that argument, but I could very well be wrong. So a good way to respond to this is asking said cis person, so you could choose right now to be the opposite gender. You could just say, you know what, I'm a girl. I'm a girl now. It's like people that say you can choose to be gay. You know, if you think that you can genuinely choose to be gay, that means you right now could choose to be attracted to the same gender. You might want to question your sexuality a bit if you think you can choose that. And you might want to question your gender a bit if you think that you can choose to be trans. The other thing is, do you really think that we would choose to go through this shit? Like, you guys realize that the murder rate for trans people is 1 in every 12 people. For the rest of the population, it's like 1 in 20,000. 1 in 12 trans people are murdered. You think anyone would choose to live like that, live in that fear? A trans person is 25 times more likely to be assaulted than a cisgender person. Nobody chooses to live like this. We don't want to live with this oppression. We want to be who we are. You know, we don't want attention. If someone wants attention, they can, you know, yell and scream and wear a silly hat and walk into a room with no pants. But honestly, the point of being trans isn't for attention. The point of being trans is to be comfortable in our own bodies and live as the people that we know we are. Being trans isn't something we do for fun. Being trans is something that is oftentimes painful and really tough to deal with. Dysphoria can be absolutely debilitating, and losing childhood friends, being constantly picked on and discriminated against, having to deal with like a shit ton of legal issues, you know, like working to get your name changed and gender marker changed in some conservative places is do you really think that someone would give up a comfortable life so that we could go through the things that we deal with? You know, having gender dysphoria isn't a choice. If I could, I would choose to be cis. If I could be a girl, I would love that. I would love to not deal with what I'm dealing with, but it's not something that I woke up one day and went, I choose to be a man now. That's not how it works. Not to mention that scientifically we know it's not a choice. There are countless research papers and articles and all that kind of stuff that can teach you, you know, about the origins of being trans. It's not a thing that started with teens on Tumblr, okay? But I might make a whole separate video on the history of trans people because it's honestly really interesting and it can teach some people a lot, you know? Here is a question that's asked a lot, you know, how is being transgender not a choice? Can't they choose to not take hormones and not take surgery? Yes, transitioning itself is a choice. At any time I could stop taking testosterone, at any time I could stop pursuing top surgery. Aspects like that are a personal choice that many trans people take to feel more comfortable with who we are. If we're comfortable without surgery or hormones, then that's fine. We're still who we identify as. Nothing has changed except physically. If you're comfortable in your body, there's no need for hormones, there's no need for surgeries. Those people are still trans. Personally, I do take hormones and I am looking into and very likely getting top surgery. And while I am choosing to do those things, it's less of a choice than you may think. If I weren't to do either of these, I would still be in a very, very bad place, as would many other trans people that are, you know, going through transition. Not taking these steps can hold up crippling dysphoria to the point where you're in bed all day, you can't go out, you can't present yourself because you know that you will be misgendered, you will look at your body and you will not feel at home. You dissociate, it's a mess, you know? And that's why many of us choose to go through surgeries and hormones so that we can be more comfortable and we can live as the person that we know we are. We can't choose to feel transgender. We can choose to come out, we can choose to go on hormones, we can choose to get surgery, but those are all personal decisions. It's not a choice to feel in your core that you are not the gender that you were assigned at birth. Personally, I've been dealing with gender dysphoria for a very, very long time. I didn't know what it was for a very large part of that, but I have been dealing with it. So I think overall, what I'm trying to say is you cannot choose to be transgender. You cannot grow up completely comfortable and one day wake up and decide, I want to be transgender. I want to face this discrimination. I want to be oppressed. Yeah, that's not what happens. I mean, even there's, scientific research on what causes someone to be transgender. There are many hypotheses on what causes it, from, exposure to testosterone in the womb. There's a whole science thing behind it. I can link a few things in the description, but I'm not qualified to, really talk about that. So there's many theories as to why trans people are trans, but we all know it is not a choice. It is anything but a choice. Goodbye. I hope you have a I hope you have a great day. And I will talk to you later, maybe.